sorts of different disciplines. Because marketing people now need to know about technology, don't they? And technologists and IT people need to know about marketing. And marketing people and IT people need to know about finance and business models. So you need people that have all those expertise now to be able to do that. Sorry, the life ain't going to get any easier, but hopefully you get paid more. Yeah. So that's the principal difference. And we need to be able to do this again on this person process. It's real time. It's about personalisation, which we're going to hear from Dominic a bit in a moment. I'm pleased to say, which is really good because it fits in with this. So it's not about fixed static market segments that have presumed characteristics. It's not about buying Mosaic or databases and saying all our customers or our people that we're engaging with fall within this particular presumed characteristic. What we need to know is what they're thinking about now, and we can do that. Sitecore does that. It picks up information about implicit and explicit behaviour and responds accordingly. It's smart learning. We're getting to the point where we're using intelligent dynamic websites with machine learning in there. All sounds a bit too grand for you? No? No, good, because it's out there, it's working. And actually, this guy here is starting to do it. He's my hero. And so, experiment. You know this expression, fail fast? I'm not so keen on that. I like to win fast, don't you? So, win fast, but don't be worried about failing either. So it requires that kind of attitude. Oh, I forgot I'll put that slide in there. When it comes to websites specifically, I hardly ever talk about websites, to be honest, despite being a digital strategist. Isn't that strange? It just occurred to me. But it's about having the ability to have your content dynamically changing from one moment to the next to respond to prevailing market conditions at any one given time, as I said before, as opposed to this, which tends to be what the case is. And what's the problem? Why does that happen? Why is that happening?
Because of the conventional model.
Yeah. And quite often the technology is too clunky to be able to change things. I was dealing with an insurance company the other day. They've got 10 people full-time who are HTML editors. An insurance company. They need elastic pricing. They need to be able to change their pricing according to what their competitors are doing yesterday, today, and probably tomorrow, don't they? Otherwise they won't get conversions. But what they were doing, every time they needed to make a slight change on their website, they had to go to this team of people who employed full-time just to do HTML editing. I mean, that's just crazy. So we moved those people. And they're now doing jobs where they're doing personalization and testing and engagement automation and personas and email campaign management. In other words, they moved from being an overhead to the business to adding value for the business. They're happy because they've got something more interesting to do. The business is happier because they're getting a better ROI from their investments from their people. Yeah. So, and also it means restructuring the organisation to some extent. Same our silos, we're all familiar with this, aren't we? And even this slide is not very good because the CMO really should also be integrated with customer services, with financial services. The whole operation is part and parcel of your agile digital marketing strategy, your marketing strategy. It's not silos anymore. So that means that you need a team, you need an agile marketing team. So you need therefore a platform, the technology that enables you to do that. And that's what Sitecore enables you to do. Because I was kind of guessing that you guys here today, obviously my marketing platform didn't tell me who was turning up today. That's not good, is it? Obviously I didn't check. Should have done. But what we need to be able to do is have a digital marketing platform, a system that enables you to know from one moment to the next what's going on in that market, by market segment, by individuals, by product line, whatever it is, however you are slicing and dicing measurements for your success of your organisation. Produce content in the moment, publish that content just by touching buttons, seeing how it works, and then changing it if it's not working. And then seeing the outcomes, the measurements at clock speed, always at clock speed. And you can't go back. It's always going at clock speed and going forward, and that's what Sitecore enables you to do. So let's just stand back a bit, and I'm going to give you an idea as to what Sitecore does. But I'm not a sales guy, I'm not here to pitch Sitecore. This is kind of a generic slide in many respects and talks about a digital marketing platform from a conceptual point of view. Because what goes wrong quite often from an agile point of view and from a marketing point of view is people buy technology, the IT team go out there and buy technology for technology's sake because their content management systems are out of date and they plumb it in, but it's got nothing to do with what the business is trying to do. Or the marketing team go out there and run a commercial sort of tactical commercial project, which is just driven by a campaign and need a bit of software to do that, email campaign management system and maybe a social media publishing system. None of it works together. You end up with this Frankenstein system. I know I've been guilty of doing that myself. I spent hundreds and hundreds with lots and lots on the end on technology, which we only use about 20% of, and I had to employ a lot of people to get it to work. That's why I joined Sitecore, because I knew this is how it works. So this is what you're doing, aren't you? From one moment to the next in terms of your digital strategy, or 1 year to the next at least, hopefully you're doing something that is defining where you're in that market. You're looking at the opportunities and threats, and what the challenges are, and you might do a pest analysis, political, environmental, social, technical, environmental, legal analysis. You can see I'm a university lecturer phone. Anyway. But you're definitely doing this market audit, and according to your line of business, according to your business, you will come up with these these overall corporate objectives, which will be in your annual report or your corporate statement. So these are the kind of things you might be wanting to do, like increase customer renewals or whatever it may be. So that's what you need to be able to do. Now, where organisations go wrong, and why you don't get executive sponsorship, is there's this disconnect between what your overall marketing goals or strategies might be, forget the semantics, and how they align to those overall primary corporate objectives. And so what you need to be able to do, what we need to be able to do, and I don't see many companies doing this, is to correlate, join the dots between what you're trying to do here from a marketing point of view and prove how they're going to serve the overall strategic objectives of your board of directors or your chief executives. So if you think about, let's think about customer retention and renewals. So that would be engagement level. So what we're going to do is put a monetary, there should be an economical value against each and every one of these goals that serves perhaps that. So it's all very well we want to increase customer retention, but by how much and how we're going to do it. So engagement, people can correlate engagement levels, because you can measure that with Sitecore, by the way, across all these different channels to that. So then what you've got here is a digital marketing platform. Don't be overwhelmed by that. And this is the way I've summed up what Sitecore is. I think my product manager in Sitecore probably had a head fit if he saw me do it this way, but I need to speak the language of CFOs quite often, and operating directors as well. So let's take the scenario. Say you wanted to increase customer retention and renewals. What's your marketing strategy to be able to do that? Well, engagement levels. You get that loyalty and advocacy. How do you do that? Well, you've got this platform where you can define segments of personas. What you can do then is map out customer journeys based upon their implicit and express needs, because you've got the analytics to tell you what that is. You've got this engine here, the system says if they're interested in that, you know that they're interested in that, and you know their explicit behaviour, implied behaviour, then show them this content. Start doing dynamic personalisation in the moment. Having digital conversations which relate to those specific audiences or individuals, you can do that. We've got the analytics, the system acquires all the analytics to build up a single customer view, and then you can have ongoing engagement plans which are done in an omni-channel way to retain those customers. So you can do that retaining, and then for achieve that second primary corporate objective. So this is correlating the capabilities of agile digital marketing to marketing goals that serve the overall business objectives. Get it? So those guys who don't know what Sitecore is, that's what it is. You've got analytics. It's all one unified platform. You don't have to plumb it in. It just works. All this stuff comes out of the box and happens. You've got the analytics, so you can measure it. This engagement value concept is attribution. So every time it makes a conversion, somebody comes on and they buy, they're a repeat customer, you can attribute a value to that. You can measure it out on the journey, you know who they are, and you can see that they converted again, you can put an economic value against that. Yes, question?
Does it accommodate Google Time Manager as well?
No. It's not there really to replace Google. The difference between Google Analytics and perhaps Sitecore Analytics, I would say, is that our analytics is more qualitative in terms of its engagement value rather than quantitative. That's a very simplistic way of putting it, I have to say, but principally that's the difference. It's not there to replace Google Analytics. I would use the two together and just to correlate that actually the data is accurate for one thing. Sometimes
you're able to sort of segment users and say visitor groups based on certain parameters, behavioural parameters, whereas Google Analytics is more sort of everybody doing it.
With Sitecore and all these analytics block, you can
This is really important. Thank you for that response. This is really important. To be able to, this is all about attribution. It's putting a value against achieving these things that serve that. And we can tag content for transactions, conversions to say that this person on this journey achieved this thing. They self-serve, for instance, rather than actually ringing up a call centre. I was working with the AA not so long ago. The business case for them was going to be about the fact that they could sell more, upsell and cross-sell. Turned out the fact that they got 600 people working in their call centre, at least 15% of the calls they got were menial calls from prospective customers and existing customers that, had they had an intelligent dynamic website that gave the visitor the information they needed me to ring up the call centre. So they estimated they could save at least 10% on their calls that were coming into those 600 people per annum. And that was £3 million a year. That's a business case in itself. It's not rocket science, but maybe it is. Another organisation doing it particularly well that we cite quite often is that this EasyJet company have now really turned their company upside down. At peak periods, what they're able to do online is to fill up to 10 planes per minute. I don't think the rest of the organisation is caught up because it was in the news recently, wasn't it, that their pilots are thinking of going on strike because they're being burnt out. I suppose that's a nice problem to have, you know, they've got so much business and can't deal with it, but that's not a healthy thing that we want to hear in the news necessarily. But what happened there was that they made digital marketing agile. They do respond from one moment to the next. They have got localised personalisation. They do know who those customers are when they come back. They do have ongoing engagement plans, text messages, email campaigns, social media stuff, and they are talking to their customers and serving and giving them a much better experience. And as a consequence of that, they are now the leading budget airline in Europe. And the principal thing here, the principal thing here is that the CEO has made digital marketing the boardroom mandate. And I would argue, just being challenging for a moment, I would argue that perhaps EasyJet now is an online business that just happens to fly airplanes. If they didn't have an online business, then they would have no people to put airplanes in to fly those airplanes. So I'm trying to provoke thought so that people see the world differently, because that's what Uber's done, that's what Airbnb's done, that's what Alibaba's done, and 100 other organisations creating new business models out of digital marketing. You don't have to have a new business model. You can be an existing traditional business, but apply things in a different way to actually achieve remarkable results. Sorry, your point?
Yes, the question to you, if you're familiar with EasyJet from technical side, do you know the number of developers who work on that project, Sitecore developers?
Do I know of any?
5. Only 5 people made all that entire user journey. So everyone who have booked a ticket with EasyJet might know how complex system is with all this pricing with it's really, really complex. And all that done only by 5 permanent Sitecore people. Of course, they do delegate some non-Sitecore staff to third-party organizations, but the major line down is only 5 developers. This is something that surprised me. I can't believe it.
Well, it's a really good point to make. The whole principle behind an agile marketing platform along the lines I've been talking about is that you shouldn't have to employ legions of staff to run it. If you do that, then there's something wrong. It means you've probably got integration points which are a problem from disparate different pieces of technology. It means that they're probably not trained on it. There's something wrong. I mean, there's some companies that have just got this whole platform. They've got 2 people running the whole thing, and they're massive corporations. Well, I can't say who they are, but you know, some people already have 2 or 3 people in their organisation to do this. So don't feel as though you need. This is only for the big corporations. It's not. I can point to small tour operators, like Safaris, as an example. We've only got 10 people in the company, but they crucify their competitors because they're doing agile marketing. So at the end of the day, this is what we're trying to do, obviously. Things to think about in the future, and think about the correlation between agile marketing and what the world's doing at the moment. Are these things here, is that we're moving from being a disconnected business to a network business, and clearly that's what our system does. It de-silos organisations. It means they can work as one and communicate with one. So when a customer rings up the call centre, they know who they are. When they're engaging with the website, it recognises who they are. They've got the same messages, the same brand, the same communications. They recognise that person across those different channels. It's also moving from closed to open. In other words, it's being transparent about pricing, it's about product and service. no point, there's no hiding place for brands anyway because it gets out there on social media. So they've got to get used to that. Volume to value, some of these things you understand already. This is about actually treating people as customers for life, that they are citizens who participate in society. And you need to understand the psychographics as much as those demographics. And that data is out there, you can start to harvest that if the data protection laws allow us to do it, it is. And from fixed to fluid, that's all about being agile. So these are the 6, this is again a piece of research, and I thought that fitted quite nicely with the presentation, I have to say. But so rather than being sort of just convenient that it is, I think it's quite good because that fixed to fluid is all about agility. But you need this culture of change to be able to implement the processes, to get people to think about agile, moving from project management to Scrum Masters, moving from monthly reviews or linear processes to agility requires a different approach and buy-in from the top, otherwise it won't happen. And just to leave you with one thought, how agile could you be? So do you know what this is? Do you know what you're looking at here? Any ideas? You're not meant to know, but you could know. So this is a mood map of North America based upon the sentiment of posts on Twitter. In a period of 24 hours. I'm talking about clock speed. So if you look at these people down here in Florida, green, by the way, is happy and red is angry. So these guys down here in Florida, because they're all retired, they're all happy all of the time. They come in today and they'll second picture of margaritas. They're having a hoolie. These people over here, they're all surfer dudes, aren't they? Or Silicon Valley people. They're chilled out and they're making loads of money. They've got nothing to worry about. These guys over here are angry all the time. They're in Wall Street and worried about the, stocks and shares and bish-bash bosh and Washington and politics and horrible shit like that. Was that on the video? The point is, you can measure this. You can measure sentiment. And if you're a marketeer taking this thing to the real extreme, you don't want to sell people, angry people, happy things. Solve their problems when they're angry and make their life easier. These people, sell them more margaritas or margarita mix or whatever it may be. This information is out there with sentiment analysis on Twitter, just about agility. One moment to next. Yes, question.
Does Sitecore actually implement that kind of sentiment analysis based on its sources, not just Twitter, but just generally comments on media outlets, for example, about certain topics or industry trends?
No, we don't have any sentiment analysis as a core part of Sitecore. So we have a social media publishing capability, something called a social connector, because you mentioned being able to create your content once and publish it on any channel. So that has to be social as well. So you can create content on your website, you can push a button, it goes out to Facebook, LinkedIn, or whatever it may be, and it renders it intelligently in the right format, the right size, the right pixelation, whatever it may be. It does all that, but it doesn't listen.
Like keywords and hashtags, for example.
It doesn't do this. It's not like Radian 6 or anything like that. It's not a social media listening tool. Not yet. We do own a company that does some of that called Confo, and it integrates with Sitecore. Particularly, and it works particularly well with Facebook, but it doesn't really do it that well with Twitter just yet, to be frank. But there is that capability. So, I leave you, because you're not Sitecore customers, I leave you with a thought here, because you're going to hear about personalisation from Dominic in a moment. If you're interested, I'll be very happy to have a chat with you about, once you've got the concepts from Dominic about how Sitecore does personalisation, to run a quick session with you about the possibilities and what personalisation can do for your organisation. And it's not rocket science, honestly. And if you're probably thinking about it, if you're not thinking about it, you start to do it, and if you're not, you should be, because all the reasons I've just gone through. So I'll be quite happy to run a quick session with you about the principles and practices and how it could be applied to your business. But also the ROI methodology that I have, or we have, which is not, I promise you, it's completely unbiased agnostic. It's something for you to be able to use to see what the return on investment will be through adopting things like personalisation, testing, engagement plan, and optimise for mobile. We know what these conversion values are, and also we can look at money that can be saved through automating, driving our costs through software automation. So if you want to take me up on that offer,